Welcome! My name is Kinga and I started making YouTube videos to document for myself and my closest friends how I am reinventing myself and my whole life after divorce. If you're not a friend but you found this video, well done. Feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel. You can also visit my website because I just made one, KingaKremer.com, and from there you can also navigate to my private Instagram if you want to see more from my daily life. Also, I have to apologize for the sound quality. Hopefully it's going to be good, but I'm recording it from my car again, and it's kind of raining outside, so I just hope that the sound of the rain is not going to interfere with the sound of the video. But I have to tell you that it's kind of relaxing to have this background noise. I just don't know how it's going to sound in a video. So, I divorced about a year ago, and I've never had anxiety entering into a new relationship before my marriage. I met guys I ran away from. I dated people who I quickly realized, they wouldn't be a good match. Therefore, I kind of backed out. But I never felt anxious while dating and or going into a new relationship. And when I met my ex through an online dating site almost a decade ago, there were no questions, no hesitation, no doubts, no anxiety. In fact, within 3 months from our first online conversation, I already moved to another country to live with him. And it all turned out wonderfully. Okay, we are not divorced, but we still have nothing but love for each other. And we are still best friends. And you probably wonder why we got divorced, and I don't really want to get into that because that's a different story. The point is, I never felt anxiety or panic prior to our relationship. And now, all of a sudden, when I'm back on the dating scene, being almost 40, I get all sorts of worries and anxieties. So I wanted to look deeper into this. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts, my experiences, and what I think the solution is or could be to end this dating anxiety. So stay tuned if you happen to struggle with the same feeling. I actually also have the windows down just so that I can breathe. So hopefully I'm not going to get completely wet. First of all, we have to differentiate between the different types of anxieties in dating. I think most of us feel anxious because of the wide range of choices, the crazy number of options we are presented with on our phone, basically, every day. And dating someone while thinking there may be someone better out there can also play tricks on your mind. Some of us are just worried that we may make the wrong choice and end up committing to something, putting our, whole self, basically our time, effort, love, our whole being into something, and just we're having to end up being alone and without anything again. And I think this really applies to people who got divorced like myself and know that to get full closure on something and to fully heal after a long relationship, it really takes so much time and effort, and it's painful. And big breakups and divorces take so much out of you emotionally, financially, and so on. So we just really don't want to go through it again. Others are anxious because part of them wants to experience the beauty of love and being in a relationship. And they feel ready, totally ready for it. But they do not want to give up everything that they have going on, living their single lifestyle, which they may have really gotten used to and kind of enjoy by now. I think these are the main type of anxieties in dating, or at least what I've been experiencing so far. But of course, there may be other things, that you may feel anxious about because we have different fears, different past experiences, different trauma, different journey. So yeah, please don't hesitate to share it with me in the comment section, what it is that causes anxiety in you. I would love to hear how and what you are experiencing. I'm sure you are not the only one. So what do we do with any of the anxieties that can occur in dating and before going into a new relationship? I think if your emotional struggle comes from thinking that there are too many options or that you may date someone while there is someone better out there, and you don't know when to stop looking, then you're struggling with something that's pretty common these days. We used to only look at people living in our vicinity, living in the same village or city even. And now all of a sudden we are scrolling or swiping through the whole world to find our person. It's just overwhelming. And of course, there's always someone prettier, smarter, nicer, taller, younger, richer, whatever out there, But dating is not about finding the best of everything. It's about finding someone that you like for maybe some unexplainable reasons. Probably that is unconditional love after all, no? No particular reason behind it, just pure love for someone. Someone you just love spending time with, someone you can truly talk to, someone you can trust, someone who can compliment you, someone you feel you can fall in love with, and who makes you fall in love with yourself because they bring out the best in you and show you that despite of all your flaws, you are lovable and worthy of love. Someone who treats you well, someone you respect, and I could just go on and on. I mean, you get the drill. They don't have to be the best of the best, because you probably aren't either. But I think good enough is good enough. I think the more you date, the more you learn about what is best for you, what works and what doesn't work for you in a relationship. So I would say that you shouldn't feel bad about meeting lots of new people. It will all contribute to this beautiful process of learning about yourself, your needs, your desires, strengths and weaknesses, and relationships in general. But do not put pressure on yourself and the process, thinking that you have to find the best of the best, or that the person you are going on a date with tonight has to be the one and only, or nothing. Just chill. We tend to put less effort and time into discovering each person, and we may be more reluctant to accepting them with their flaws, because we know that, there's hundreds of others, maybe even better options out there, and you just swipe left and those hundreds will come. So if this is the kind of anxiety you're dealing with, then I may not recommend online dating for you as the number one platform or way to find suitable partners at all. Or maybe you could try to use an app that only recommends people in your area, or use a filter to narrow down your search. If you get anxiety from the too many options, then I also recommend that you truly focus on one person at a time. Take your time to really get to know a person before you decide to move on. This is something I had to learn too, because when I used to focus on having to find a partner, I was very particular and strict about what I was looking for, what I would not be willing to put up with and fall in love with, and so on. It's important to know what you want and what suits you and what works for you, and it's really good to have a high standard and kind of like a respect for yourself. But you may end up running away from very good people in your life this way. At one point, I actually changed my focus and I said, I'm going to treat the whole dating scene much lighter, meaning that I'm open to talking to and getting to know people, even if I wouldn't date them necessarily, because you can still make friends as well. So I was just calling it networking. And this kind of saved me. It took away the pressure and allowed me to get to know people without trying to fit them in a box, without constantly looking what may be wrong with them, without trying to find out if they are a good match or not. And it just simply allowed me to make really good friends. At the end of the day, not every man and woman wants to have sex and get married to each other. But they may feel this unexplainable connection where, they can have a great conversation, can learn from each other, can offer help in certain areas, or a new insight, or even offer their company and presence for fun activities or whatever. So this is something that I think it's really worth considering. And this is something I've done a lot recently. I met people who I enjoyed talking to, eating out with, doing fun outdoor activities with, having a good laugh, and nothing more had to happen in order to make that connection meaningful, no matter how short or long it may last. So again, my advice is make it light and easy, no pressure. Allow yourself just to meet new people. Don't get into conversations with the pressure and expectations of having to find out if this is your person or not. Just drop it. Get to know them. Just to get to know them. And do it as long as it feels good and as long as you think it contributes to your life somehow. You may be surprised how many wonderful people you can connect to and build maybe even lasting friendships with. And don't come telling me that friendship between men and women doesn't exist, because that's just bullshit. I have really good male friends. Actually, most of my friends are male. I also heard from many of the relationship coaches and spiritual teachers I've been listening to that the concept of, finding the one, it's actually wrong, because there's no one. There can be many potential partners. You just have to pick someone and make it work with them. Obviously, it doesn't mean anyone, but someone who feels compatible and wants to grow together with you and is willing to commit to something long term. And I think that's the key, the willingness to commit and to grow together. This is something our parents and our grandparents used to do, no? Like, they didn't just leave or separate after the first conflict or the first thing that they found out about each other that they didn't like. They sticked around and made it work. Or at least most of them did. I'm actually also guilty of this. I want to feel like 100% sure about someone I enter into a new relationship with. And I'm kind of looking for that perfect match, and I can be way too picky. There are differences and flaws that I can accept or even like in another person, but I do have a mental list of all the things that are kind of like non-negotiable for me. And I think that's kind of okay too, because we just have to have we have to have high standards, but we also have to have healthy expectations. And for me, having spoken to or met lots of people, even if, just virtually, sort of online, has helped me create a better order in my head and my heart. Also, don't forget that our parents and grandparents were more likely to stay in a relationship because they had to, because they had less opportunities to meet new people, and because society and their families expected them to be in a relationship. To have a family. And now it's totally okay for a woman to stay single, to study, to work, and support herself. Most of us don't just want to get into a relationship just to be in a relationship, no matter what. We can find happiness as a single person as well, and we can feel completely okay with or without being in a relationship, or even without having a family and kids. Not every woman wants that anymore. So we have more freedom to decide how we want to live, and we have more opportunities to support ourselves financially and in every other way. So we don't have to be in a relationship, but instead we can choose to. And I love that freedom because it allows us to enter into a relationship for all the right reasons. But spending too much time living our single life can also bring anxiety into dating, because we create this lifestyle that kind of revolves around us and, only our needs. We don't really have to take into consideration other people and their needs. So we may have to give up certain things entering a relationship. And that can feel like a huge sacrifice at times. For example, I have really started enjoying the freedom of talking to lots of new men, making new friends. And I have to admit that the last time I was thinking of starting a relationship with someone, I started to panic that it would mean having to delete all my dating profiles, which is okay. I'm okay with that part, but it would also mean not being able to meet those people that I would probably not meet outside those apps. And that kind of felt like a limitation to my social life. Like if I'm going to lose out on so many new and interesting connections. It did give me anxiety. Does it mean I'm not ready for a committed relationship? No. I just have to find one or someone that would sort of compensate for this sacrifice. As in, I may lose out on meeting new male friends, but being with that person could bring new fun, new adventures, and new experiences to my life where it just wouldn't feel like I'm missing out on something or that I have to give up something. That's the kind of connection I want to have, where, like deleting those apps would come just easy and without hesitation. Like, I wouldn't mind. After my divorce, I wanted to fill this void that was left in me, this unusual and new feeling of being alone again. It was kind of like an open wound that needed attention, care, and a plaster, or a band-aid for the American listeners. But after I calmed down and stopped feeling the need to fill this void with another person, and realized that I needed some time alone to heal, to redefine myself and my needs for a new relationship, and I was sort of ready to date again, I started to experience this anxiety about what if I make the wrong choice? And what if I pick someone and I pour all of me into the whole thing again, and then, in a couple of years it ends and I have to go through the shit I went through again, and having to pick myself up, get back to dating, but by then being older, maybe even less dateable. I mean, I don't know, it just all of this fear and anxiety about this started to kick in. And some of us could have anxiety from our biological clock ticking and worrying about missing out on the whole having kids, part, if that's what we desire. I mean, I can kind of relate to, I never wanted to have kids, but for some strange reason, since I got divorced, I started to have this desire and image popping up in my head from time to time about having a son one day. But I try not to give it too much energy and focus because I just don't want to have a kid for the sake of having a kid. Like, I'm not desperate and I don't want to become desperate. I would only do the whole thing if I met someone who I felt like, he was the right husband and father material, to do the whole project with. Because the last thing I want to end up is being a single mom. So I'm trying to tone down my desire for kids because I have to accept that it just may not happen for me. Because my priority would be to have a loving and lasting relationship. So even if I met the right guy, I would want to spend some years with him to build a good base and enjoy each other's company. And by the time the kid could come to the picture, I mean, I may be too old for the whole thing. So my solution is just not to give too much space and energy to this thought right now. That's the best way I think I can deal with it. And that's what I would suggest you to do if you're going through something similar. And if one day this desire grows so strong in me and I'm still single or just, not able to conceive by then, I can still adopt and find other ways to let my motherly instincts flourish. I could always volunteer at an orphanage or spend more time with my niece and nephew or take care of kids and animals in need or just, I don't know, babysit for friends. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are like other ways to sort of, support that motherly instinct or experience that kind of love, even though it's not going to be the same, but I think it could be something fulfilling. I think that a manageable level of anxiety is healthy to have while dating and meeting new people. I can kind of use it as my compass. Like, I like to think that when my guy comes, the one that would be a perfect match for me, all my receptors will try to signal me. And part of how it would manifest is not feeling that anxiety. I mean, hopefully even feeling sure and confident about entering into that relationship with that person. I want to trust my intuitions and feelings because, I mean, they have helped me and saved me so many times previously. I would also encourage you to listen to your instincts more and observe how, the level of your anxiety changes when meeting different people. I'm not saying that your anxiety will always push you away from the wrong people, because that may not be true. Because I heard that we tend to go for and even fall in love with people who feel familiar, who represent or make us feel in ways we were feeling being in our family when we were young. I mean, hence the word familiar. That's how we used to feel in our family, like that's the kind of pattern we used to experience. But it doesn't always mean it's healthy or it's the best for us. I mean, personally, I witnessed domestic violence as a kid, and for a while I was attracted to guys who went full on crazy on me to the point of physical violence. Until one day I had enough and I said, no more. I don't want this to repeat. So, unfortunately, you can't always trust your feelings either. I mean, you may feel this strong pull to someone who may be really, really bad for you. But I'm sure you're also on this lifelong self-discovering and learning journey. And I trust you that you have the ability to filter out what and who is best for you. Even if you fail in the beginning, I think this skill will come with time. So I trust you and your skills. So in short, have a lighter approach to the whole dating game. Try not to put pressure on yourself and others. Be okay with meeting new people just for the fun of it, without them having to be the one. Be open to making new friends. And enjoy the whole learning process, the opening and closing of the heart. And if you think it feels overwhelming or tiring at times, just take a break. You are where you're supposed to be. You're not late with anything. You will meet whoever you have to meet, whenever you have to meet. trust the timing of the universe. That's actually my favorite line because it calms me every time. I would love to read your thoughts and personal experience with dating anxiety. So please do comment down there if you have something to share. If you like this video, give it a like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so we can stay in touch. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, just one more thing before you go. I made a website. You can find it on KingaKremer.com. From there, you can also navigate to my private Instagram, my personal Instagram. So if you want to follow me there, feel free to do that. Hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.